All right, welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wished you could just flip a switch and feel a little bit better? Well, today we are diving into exactly that, how you can do it in as little as 15 seconds, just by using a few simple tricks to work with your brain, not against it. So let's start with a feeling I think we've all had. You're not necessarily sad, you're not angry, you just feel off. You scroll your phone, that doesn't help. You put on some music, that doesn't help either. It's that weird, unexplained moment of unease, and you're just kind of left thinking, why can't I just feel okay for no reason? Now, what if I told you there's a way to interrupt that feeling almost instantly? And look, we're not talking about some massive life change or trying to force positive thinking. No, this is about a quick, science-backed way to literally flip a switch inside your own brain. Okay, so to get to the solution, we first have to understand the problem. Or maybe it's better to call it a glitch. It all starts with understanding what your brain's real job is, and spoiler alert, it's not quite what most of us have been led to believe. So here's the absolute crucial point. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. Its number one job, its prime directive, is survival. It's a reaction machine built to keep you safe from threats, which, by the way, is why it can so easily get stuck in a negative loop. But here's the brilliant part. Once you realize this is just an automatic reaction, like a line of dominoes falling, you suddenly get the power to step in and interrupt it. You can actually change the signal. Let me show you how. Our very first trick is something called the face switch, and it's all about using your own body to send a brand new and much, much calmer signal up to your brain. We tend to think this is a one-way street. My brain feels an emotion, and then my face shows it. But it's actually a two-way feedback loop. Your brain is constantly checking in with your physical state to figure out how it should be feeling, and your face is one of the main places it looks for clues. Let's actually try this together, right now. Maybe you just got a frustrating email or you're thinking about a tough conversation you need to have. First, gently raise your eyebrows, just a little. Next, unclench and totally relax your jaw. And then, just let the corners of your mouth lift up ever so slightly. We're not talking a big, cheesy, forced smile here. Now just hold that for 15 seconds. So, what just happened? Well, that simple change in your facial posture sent a signal to your brain that basically says, hey, everything must be safe down here. And in response, your brain starts to dial back the stress chemicals. You see, you're not faking happiness, you're signaling safety, and your emotional state just follows right along. Okay, so trick one takes care of the physical signal. But what about the mental side of things? What do you do when your mind is racing, just replaying every single problem on an endless loop? Well, that brings us to trick number 2, name it to tame it. Your brain pretty much has these two basic modes. And when a strong emotion like stress or anxiety spikes, it throws you headfirst into reacting mode. You don't just feel the emotion, you become the emotion. The goal here is to shift ourselves into thinking mode, where we can observe what's happening without being totally consumed by it. And the switch to do this is incredibly simple. The moment you're stuck in traffic and you feel that anger rising, or you get that nervous feeling before a meeting, just silently say to yourself what's happening. I'm feeling stressed, or I'm feeling anxious. That's it. No analyzing, no judging yourself for it, just label it. This tiny act creates an amazing shift. The second you label the emotion, you move from being drenched out in the middle of the storm to watching that same storm from the safety of inside a house. It's still raging, but now you've got distance. Your brain literally can't be in full-on panic mode and analytical labeling mode at the exact same time. It's a beautiful little hack that interrupts the negative loop. The third and final trick is maybe the most powerful of them all, because it's about actively changing your brain chemistry whenever you want. Okay, here is a massive mistake we all make. We wait for the big win, the finished project, the good news, to finally let ourselves feel happy. But your brain, it just doesn't work that way. It actually rewards the small forward steps, the progress itself, with a little hit of dopamine. So how do you trigger this, especially when your to-do list feels like a mountain with a micro win? All you need is one small, deliberate action that takes less than 15 seconds. Seriously, straighten up in your chair right now. Take one slow, intentional breath, or just take a sip of water. Boom, you just gave yourself a dopamine hit. This right here is the insight that completely flips the script on motivation. We always wait to feel motivated before we act, but that's backward. You have to take one tiny action first, and that action is what creates the chemical motivation to keep going. So let's put this all together, right? How do we combine these three tricks into one simple 15-second mood reset that you can use anytime, anywhere? The next time you feel a rough moment coming on, just run this sequence. First, soften your face to signal safety. Second, name the emotion you're feeling to create some distance. And third, complete one tiny action to release some dopamine. Think of this as your go-to reset for that mid-afternoon slump or for the moment right before a really difficult task. And the big takeaway here is that you have direct control. In that moment, your external world didn't change at all, but your internal state completely shifted. That is real power. Which brings us to probably the most important point of this entire thing. Happiness isn't some destination you find or a prize you win. It's something you activate. It's an internal skill that you can practice and use whenever you need it. So your brain already has everything it needs. The amazing thing is now you know where the switches are. You have the power to change your state anytime you choose. You're never really truly stuck. So the only question left is, are you going to use them?